land. And when I die, just let me lie beneath the Irish rain and sky. For there I'll hear the rivers sing, the hills will crown me like a king, and she'll be there, my fiery bride, to guide me home with emerald eyes. The wind remembers Ireland through every way, through every land. No matter where these feet may roam, her voice will call me home. The wind remembers Ireland through every way, through every land. No matter where these feet may roam, her voice will call me home. Hey!
We met where smoke and stories live, where every fool's got none to give. The pints were cheap, the jokes were old, but every heart was made of gold. We sang of ships and saints and war, we cursed the kings, we begged for more. And every time the fire burned low, someone shouted one more show. We are the brothers of the flame. We drink, we laugh, we curse the pain. Raise your glass and shout your name. We are the brothers of the flame. Hey. Hey. Through years of rain and times of drought, we found our
What is going on, freedom fighters? Welcome to the St. Patrick's Day special occasion of Break the Chains Media. Appreciate y'all being here today on the beautiful summer's afternoon here in Irish land of the Mile High City. I don't know what I'm doing, folks. We are just going full steam ahead. I am dressed to the nines. We've got to fight like hell for the St. Patrick's Day cheer and make sure that gold standard Jenna Griswold is nowhere near, right? Isn't that the spirit, folks? Welcome to Break the Chains Media here. Ho ho! I've got the Irish beard. I've got the red beard boy in full action. No, folks, I'm not going to be doing that the entire time. I appreciate you all being here. Cheers to St. Patrick's Day. Cheers to being here on Break the Chains Media. How bright is that light, though? I'll tell you what. Cheers to, it's because we're living in this is a dynamic set right now because the sun is constantly changing. So I'm constantly having to deal with the varying lights, the varying level of light here in the studio. But it is what it is. In about 30 minutes, the sun's going to be over the hill here, and we'll be set to go. So cheers to y'all being here on Break the Chains Media. Got to get the old energy flowing, right? But no, we've got some good stuff to get into, and we are gonna be jumping in. We're gonna be making this happen. Cheers! Appreciate y'all being here. Rock and roll, Stankfield in the house. What is going on? K-Shoot 15. We got you here too. Rock and roll. Let's make it happen, folks. We are crushing it. Give me 2 seconds though, because I see something that's not quite working. So give me just a second, because I'm noticing that I see you guys here live, but on oh, there it is. Okay, we're good. I was just checking hold on. Why is this not working? Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm like doing this in real time. The broadcast has ended on X. Is anyone seeing me? I mean, I see YouTube and Rumble is working fine, but hold on. Let me try Let me try. I gotta reset X really quick. I'm hoping that it can actually work for the stream because it's like not connecting for some reason, which is weird. So yeah, I usually do this in the beginning of the stream, make sure everything's working, but it appears that X is having an issue for the stream. But if we're on Rumble and YouTube, let's keep rocking, let's keep rolling. That's what we're gonna be doing because I've got the link, so everything's fine. Either way, we're crushing it. We're making it happen. We've got some fun things to talk about, some sad things to talk about, some devastating news in Nebraska. We got fires raging in Nebraska. We've got the Colorado GOP chair, Brita resigning. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the long storied history of what's really going on here in Colorado regarding the Republican Party and its lackluster representation here in the state. Multiple different things are going on, so we're going to talk about all of that. We are also going to touch base on the gold standard Griswold. I hope you guys like the St. Patrick's Day intro. I mean, I cooked that one up. I mean, thank you AI for allowing you know, what a better example of a gold standard Griswold than a schemy little leprechaun holding her pot of gold, making sure no one else can get it, right? That is exactly what you would expect from gold standard Griswold. Absolutely. It is, you know, very fitting, very festive. So I'm glad I was able to have her as my little leprechaun, my little pot of gold thieving leprechaun. But that is gold standard Griswold, right? No, it absolutely is very perfect. Chef's kiss to the gold standard Griswold. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and we're going to be jumping right into it. But if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend you checking out breakthechains.media. That is the website. That is the landing page. Come check out Break the Chains Media. You can find all the socials, all the links there. Smash that thumbs up button. Be a part of the Chain Breakers. Sherry Carter, happy St. Patrick's Day to you. I wanted to put some, you know, I have a chainsaw, but like I wanted to have like a pot of gold. Maybe I'll add that to my next live stream. Some jingling coins, right? Because we all love the gold standard. I think we're really living in that era of gold standard here in Colorado, thanks to Jenna Griswold. So maybe I'll add a pot of gold, right? But that is good. If you do want to support the stream, grab a bottle of hot sauce, Realm Walker hot sauce. Travel the 9 realms of Norse mythology through hot sauce. Pick up a bottle here, handmade, home bottled by me, yours truly. Grown the peppers myself, bottled them, manufactured and made it all happen. Slap the label on the bottle. So if you want to support Break the Chains Media, if you want to support the work I do, smash a bottle of Realm Walker hot sauce. Follow Realm Walker hot sauce on Instagram, or follow Break the Chains Media and reach out and we'll get you a bottle going. But yeah, the Colorado GOP is acting like a conservative Democrat group. That is exactly what they're. The behavior is absolutely despicable, disgusting, and pathetic to actually see that be taking place. Hold on, this is that was a response that I did. Anyways, yeah. So without further ado, we are jumping right into it here on the live stream on St. Patrick's Day. Tyranny Response Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day special. Cheers. Let's make it happen. But very quickly, wanted to touch base, wanted to get into it because this is tragic. This is sad. I know a lot of people double check on your friends and family out in Nebraska because as it stands right now, there's some serious fires happening in Nebraska. So thoughts and prayers go out to them. Make sure that this is taken care of effectively. Now, I know everyone on the internet says immediately you say it's AI. And this photo very well could be AI. This very well could be a clickbait photo image to grab your eyes because it is so devastating and to not take away from the reality. Because very much people people did check this, right? And I did as well. So shout out to Big Timber for fact checking this. I did as well. Several other people did, but the moral fire is actually taking place right now. So this is from Grok. Nebraska it's in its worst wildfire crisis on record. The Morrill Fire, the largest ever, has burned 572,000 acres across multiple blazes, including Cottonwood, Anderson Bridge, and Road 203 mile marker. So the fires are largely uncontained. One confirmed fatality. There's a lot of different articles reporting this as well. So it's, I mean, 9 News covered it. It's actually really happening. You know, so while the photo might be artificially generated, the fact is that the fires are raging, right? So the photo is eye-grabbing. So 2 things can be true at once, right? Yes, they are grass fires. Yes, stank fail. I have a house in the path of that fire. Those grass fires move so fast. So this is probably an artificially generated image. Doesn't change the fact that fires are dangerous, fires are spreading, and I just want everyone to be aware of that, to understand that 2 things can be true at once. We can be dealing with very eye-catching, shocking photos, and that's probably what we're going to see going into this uncanny valley, this artificial intelligence future. You will be seeing photos and captivating headlines, captivating emotive responses, photos just like this. I mean, it grabbed my eye. That's why I shared it, right? So this might be a generated image. This might not be an actual photo of real life helicopter footage, but the point still remains, and the facts are still present. So let's be careful, and let's make sure that they get all the effort. And this is actually a larger thing that I was trying to reach into is this is going to be just the beginning of what we're seeing take place in Colorado, right? And this is what I posted, right? Sadly, this will become more common. Colorado and many other western states for many reasons, none of which are good. I should record this. Sorry, I know you guys. I speak in real time. I do it all at once. So rewind. Sadly, this will become more common. Colorado and many other western states for many reasons, none of which are good. Water shortage, food supply. Wow. Water shortages, food supply crisis, housing and redevelopment. This is all based in globalism. This will have long-lasting effects. And you're going to see this right here, right now. This fire right here is a prime example of how they're going to never let a good crisis go to waste. It's all about forming a crisis and forming a solution around the crisis, right? However these fires started is second to the fact that they're going to try to institute food shortages, water shortages, and promote self-sustainability in smaller geocentric located cities, smart cities, right? Where they're going to try to push us all out of the rural and the multi-generational farms and housing and infrastructure that's been a backbone to Colorado and American culture, right? American infrastructure has been built around this, right? So they will use these crises to spawn their end goal of globalism and centralized control and power and digital surveillance and synthetic meat production, synthetic food production, and water limiting, water rationing. It's all part of this larger agenda, right? And we're going to see this take place across the nation. Mark my words, and I hate to be like, a negative Nancy Nostradamus, right? But we're looking at this, and we're going to see this take place across the eastern plains of Colorado, across southern Colorado, Nebraska, Montana, Wyoming. You're going to see this take place across the country all summer long. Think about how dry our winter is. The driest winter we've had in years in Colorado. All of that precipitation has been on the western side of the Rockies. And now we're going to see all this play out, and I just hope everyone's taking heed and listening and stockpiling water, stockpiling food, just to make sure that you are going to be able to take care of your family and yourself for a prolonged period of time if and when crises like this break out near you, right? So just take heed, and prayers for victims of the Morrill fire in Nebraska, prayers to anyone that's having to deal with this right now. So I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that, right? Absolutely. Yeah. So kind of sidetracked, but it's all still good information, right? We're all talking about good information, right? What do we got here? Kill 'em 41. There have been many arsons in our wild area, dude. Just 2 weeks back, or 3 weeks back, probably in Denver, we dealt with a string of arsons up and down I-25. That was completely glossed over when we're talking about high winds, and 3 different fires broke out along I-25. I posted on it when it happened at 84th and I-25. So you can see bad actors take advantage of high winds and dry conditions. It's very dangerous. So we also have, that's a lot of land getting burnt up. It'll be more fertile in a few years. Part of this could be prevented with proper land management. Absolutely agree. Prayers to all those out there. Yes, I won't be moving back to the urban areas, rural, and staying that way. Cheers to that. Thank you. And no, just stay safe and stay aware, right? All right, just finish the energy drink. Let's rock and roll. We got this. Gotta make sure my hair looks okay because I'm kind of wearing it a different way right now. But so long as it looks good, so long as it works. You know how I am. Good morning. Remember, there are creative solutions to all our problems. Colorado legislative session averages 400 to 500 bills a session. Completely out of control and unnecessary. Less government, more freedom. That is the solution. You are the highest form of government. Start acting like it. The fewer things politicians control, the less it matters who controls the politicians. Folks, let's get back to this ideology. Let's get back to this mindset, because everyone complains and gripes about foreign-backed politicians, or are you promoted? Are you supported by AIPAC? Are you supported by this group? Are you supported by individual? Are you supported by the Koch brothers? It's a Koch brothers conspiracy, right? It's a Koch brothers conspiracy. This is the kind of energy that everyone worries about. But what we really need to get down to brass tacks and understand that less politicians, less political control, less it matters where the money comes from, who's funding them, right? So let's remember that. So yeah, we also have great post from 5280 based homo, Rich Guggenheim, the legend, speaking his truth. But honestly, folks, it's been 4 years in a row now the Colorado Dems have killed bills in the legislature that would make buying or selling child for adult nefarious activities a felony. So the Colorado cultural Marxists protect and defend child abusers. And Rich Guggenheim speaks some real truth here on this podcast. So I highly recommend giving him a follow and checking out his work. Doing awesome stuff here in Colorado as well. But let's take a listen just to a quick clip from this stream. Let's make sure it works. Is it going to work? Are you good? Are you good there, Buckaroo? Buckaroo, what do we got? All right, let's give it a
the
shot.
Democrats voted against most recently.
Oh, yes, we
Because
have.
this just proves the point of everything you just said.
Yep. So in Colorado, we for 4 years have tried to get a bill passed that would make buying and selling a child for sex a felony. And for 4 years, it has failed along party lines. Every single year, the Democrats in the Colorado legislature have killed that bill. And a couple of years ago, it was a legislator who identified as black and queer who spoke out in the testimony in committee and said, I'm voting against this because this would marginalize the LGBTQ community. And I was shocked by her statement, because are we admitting that there are pedophiles in the LGBTQ community, and if you make it a felony, that this is going to harm them? By all means, please pass this bill.
As soon as you said it to me, I was like, this protects the minor attracted
people. Yep. So yeah, he keeps going into this, and I highly recommend following him and deep dive understanding that there is a rooted, seated child affiliation, a child fascination with our elected officials here in Colorado. It's absolutely sickening, absolutely disgusting. And he's calling it out. So he calls it out like it is. Definitely give Dr. Rich Guggenheim a follow. Great work. Keeping it going, keeping it moving here. Did some great stuff. This is the second part. We'll get into this in the second half of the live stream. But this is the universal mail-in ballots video that I posted, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So without further ado, folks, we're going to be jumping into it. We're making it happen. So we got Colorado GOP Chair Brita Horn says she'll resign next month. This coming from a long and arduous battle with Colorado Democrats. Wow. This is coming from a long and arduous battle within the Colorado GOP party. Colorado GOP Chair Brita Horn says she will resign next month and points to the divide within our party. Horn is the 6th consecutive one-term or less Colorado GOP chair. What does that say about the state of Colorado politics when it comes to the Republican Party or the conservative movement? This coalition of individuals who are opposed to the cultural Marxists and Democrat Socialists of America that have been running Colorado legislature to the ground, curb stomping the legislative process over and over, passing hundreds of bills every session. The Colorado Republican Party can't seem to get it together and unite under one leader, under one banner, under one group, and say, we have to fight against radical trans ideology and the genital mutilation of minors, like we just talked about, like we just heard from with Rich Guggenheim. This has been a long infested problem in the Colorado legislative body when it comes to absurd legislation and bills. We're talking about the child trans bill, the child grooming, or whether it be taxes, whether it be gun legislation, you name it. We can't seem to get liberty-minded candidates in positions of legislative power in Colorado, and this right here is rooted in the why. Let's take a listen to understanding from 9 News what they're reporting on and where it comes from, the Brita Horn and her position to resign. It all stems with financial woes and infighting and argument, to cut to the chase. But let's take a listen to this report here from 9 News.
There are a lot of bad jobs.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Kyle
but
Clark.
Being the chairperson of the Colorado Republican Party has got to be right up there. Party Chair Brita Horn said this afternoon she will resign after a series of no confidence votes and lawsuits among party leaders. She becomes the 6th consecutive one-term or less Colorado GOP chair, as grand old infighting has taken over the party that has been shut out in recent statewide races. Horn is also a volunteer fire chief and the author of the book Drinking from a Fire Hose: 5 Essential Tools to Not Get Soaked. It's been more than a decade since there was any real stability in the leadership of the Colorado GOP.
Sorry, I'm sorry, folks. I can't sit here and listen to Kyle Clark and his pull up his rear end reporting, right? We thought about this last night. We were doing the X Spaces, and we were talking. I brought up Elf on a Shelf, and talking about Colorado reporting and Colorado news, and we coined the term "Kyle on a pile," and it couldn't fit more perfect with Kyle Clark here, and his dumb looking face, and his broken reporting practices, and his biased journalism. Kyle on a pile couldn't be more perfect for propagandist in chief from 9 News and soon to be consumed by Nexstar Media Corporation, Kyle Clark. Kyle on a pile. Let's keep listening.
Term chair, you got to go back to 2015 and Ryan Call, who was later disbarred for taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from a pro-Trump super PAC.
Yeah, sorry. He just doesn't do it. He's a low quality journalist. Kyle Clark is the king of the pile when it comes to news journalism and reporting. Kyle on a pile couldn't ask for a better one to represent it, right? No. So yeah, that was just a little intro, but yes, it's been a long-standing problem here regarding Brita Horn and the governing body of the state GOP position. This is actually a fantastic article. I read through this earlier before the stream, and I will actually post this on my X. This is from the Red Mountain Dossier, and it's a great breakdown of the history of what Brita Horn inherited from the former chair, Dave Williams. And as Kyle on a Pile reported, this has been a long-standing problem. This has been a long-standing issue in the Colorado Republican Party. From the Red Mountain Dossier, Reignited Colorado, exposing misconduct in the Colorado Republican Party under Dave Williams and the path to professional reform. This was written December 18, 2025. So this was before Brita announced her resignation. That resignation just happened recently. But Dave Williams started this financial war, this financial infighting that took place. And he did lawsuit after lawsuit, bringing the Colorado GOP into almost $300,000 in debt. And so let's take a look and read into this just really quickly here. The vindictive lawsuit saga, weaponizing party resources against allies. One of the most blatant instances of misconduct was Dave Williams' February 2025 lawsuit filed on behalf of the CRC against fellow Republicans, including Chair Brita Horn, former Chair Christy Burton Brown, and three others, Nancy Pelosi, Todd Watkins, Eli Bremer, and Kevin McCarthy. As the sole authority to authorize such actions, Williams committed party funds to this meritless suit, which targeted protected political speech under the First Amendment in Colorado's anti-SLAPP laws. Critics viewed this as a calculated effort to silence dissent, exposing the CRC to potential attorney fee liabilities from defendants. As soon as she assumed office, Brita Horn swiftly moved to dismiss the lawsuit, stating that Republicans should not sue fellow Republicans for political activism. However, Williams orchestrated efforts to perpetuate the conflict beyond his tenure. Right now, Dave Williams is sitting in D.C., and we'll have to double check this, but allegedly he's sitting in D.C. right now as not an informant, but a liaison, or he's what's the word? Why can't I think of it? It is an affiliate to the Trump administration in D.C. He's an analyst, or excuse me. Dave Williams is an advisor in D.C. as it stands right now, allegedly reporting, and he's sitting out there, and he is working under a federal capacity. Allegedly, I had to confirm this. I had to double check this, but if he's sitting out in D.C. and he's advising roles to the federal government, I don't know to what capacity, whether he actually is a federal employee or he's just happens to be in D.C. and having lunches and drinks with other officials in the administration. Who knows the specifics? But the fact is that this person is also, Dave Williams, being in D.C. right now, has been currently influencing and affecting the Colorado Republican Party at the state level. So this very well could be a violation of the Hatch Act. Very possible to influence state affairs from as a federal official. Don't quote me. I'd have to look into the specifics of the Hatch Act. It might have to do something with a foreign affairs, but that's something we can look into later, right? But let's keep reading. Financial irregularities. $261,000 in expenditures during a single month, $140,000 discrepancy, unauthorized access, and wasteful spending. The misconduct extends deeply into financial stewardship, revealing opacity and potential self-dealing. Horn's 30-day report dated April 30th, 2025 revealed a staggering $140,000 discrepancy between actual bank balances and FEC reported amounts under Williams' administration. Moreover, with the last month of Williams' administration, the party incurred over $261,000 in expenses, draining the party's coffers by nearly 78%. This prompted the engagement of Red Curve Solutions, a premier Republican compliance firm, and a forensic audit to establish clean baseline and identify the root causes. So you got the receipts here, folks. You got several different listings here, all of it breaking down. This is one fiscal year ago. Not even. It's literally almost to the day. We're looking at 3/17/2025. Supplies for scent, dinner, and reorganization, $153 from Amazon. So this is the breakdown. This is the expenditures. Lawyer groups totaling $35,000, $10,000 for deferred payment. So you've got the receipts here, folks. And then you have the personal enrichment part with Dave Williams. Over the course of several years, Williams collected $200,000 in consulting and reimbursement fees. So this goes detailed reports down to screenshots and reporting, and it basically explains how Brita inherited this. And to be fair, and I'm not just like, blowing smoke for Brita Horn here. I think there was a lot of failures in her part as well, and it shows that there has been a long-seated issue. There has been a long-seated issue of financial mismanagement when it comes to the direction of the Colorado GOP. And Dave Williams, I think, intentionally drove the finances to the ground. Brita Horn could have come out and been very transparent, very open about a lot of things, and really could have led a charge in proper accountability from prior administrations. But it ties all back together with infighting, with division, with trying to unify the party, with trying to fight against the overt Marxism that's happening in Colorado. So there's a lot of layers to this, and I think the big issue, and I think the big problem with all this is that it all boils down to one thing. All of this boils down to the fact that Colorado Republican Party does not have leadership. It does not have a standing figure to say, this is the agenda, this is the motion, this is the movement that we're going to be taking for the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. We're going to have a short plan. We have to have a short-sighted plan as well as a long-sighted plan, and a trajectory and where we want to see ourselves, and coalesce around common platform, common cause, and right the ship. Close the financial, like clean up the financial jargon, clean up the financial waste, and whatever that may be. But the fact is that she inherited a financial mess, and no Colorado Republican, registered or even leaning unaffiliated. Why would anybody support this campaign when there is no central cohesion, when there's no central fabric, right? When there's no unified message? No one's going to be supporting that. No one wants that. I wouldn't want to participate in a process that looks as broken as this is. Unfortunately for me, I am somewhat of a masochist, and I enjoy arguing politics. So I dove in face first, right? I go, man, this looks like a pile of crap. This looks absolutely horrible. I can't wait to just jump into this and make sense of what I can. That's just me. But what do you got to say to that, Gandalf? I mean, seriously, what do you got to say to that? It's my own fault, right? It is my own fault, But point is that we need to get leadership. We need to get involved. We need to be a participant and stop fighting one another. Now, it's one thing to have internal disputes and arguments, but it's another thing entirely when we're calling out rhinos. We're calling we are calling out disingenuous individuals. We're calling out snake oil salesmen and, social media psychopaths. We got to call out these people, right? Absolutely. But when it comes down to messaging, when it comes down to the key goal and the agenda moving forward, we have to make sure that we are going to stand together and we're going to actually promote liberty, promote limited government, fix the Colorado budget, stop spending money on all these pet projects, repeal unconstitutional gun laws, make sure that we're not mutilating children's genitals. Like these are like very simple, I don't think that's too much to ask for any sane individual. That's an 80-20 issue, and we're on the majority when we're talking about mutilating children's genitals. I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think we're on the same page. We want to make sure that the energy sector is something that Colorado can really lean into here. I think energy is super important. I think manufacturing and food production. If Colorado were to lean into food production, lumber production, going back to mining, finding some of these more rare earth minerals that might be in the Rocky Mountains somewhere in the West, but because of green policies like Polis is promoting, because the legislator is so progressively green and they don't want to burn up, greenhouse gases. They don't want to deep rock mine. God forbid we do some hard rock mining and actually do some surveying to maybe pull out some well-needed minerals that could influence and contribute to a Colorado growing economy. Nah. We don't want to think like that. That hurts the planet, right? But we can go off on all these different tactics. But these are the conversations we should be having when it comes to a conservative Colorado platform to build that leadership, to build that messaging. So that's what we need to focus on, folks. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with that. But no, I do think that it all comes back down to messaging and the agenda and what we need to promote when we're talking about these Colorado conservative issues that matter most and coalescing around a main idea and a main path forward for the immediate and for the long term. We need to have leadership, and with Brita Horn resigning, it opens up a pathway for either a potential to let the party burn and completely trash heap, fall into a pile of ash, let the party burn to the ground, and from the ashes resurrect a phoenix, a bird of prey, a new era of Colorado conservative politics. Let's hope we can get behind that, right? That is the goal. But with that, folks, we are I'll post that in the X chat. And then this here is, we can break this down. It's super easy. It's barely an inconvenience, but let's jump into the video I posted earlier today. Ties into the whole mail-in ballot thing, but we're going to make it quick. We're going to be landing the plane so we can get to eating that corned beef and cabbage. Hopefully you guys got some corned beef and cabbage cooking. I got some upstairs. I also have some smoked salmon and cream cheese and crackers. So I don't know what are you guys' favorite St. Patrick's Day traditions outside of the obvious, right? Some of us, if you don't drink, maybe you just have the corned beef and cabbage. But if you do drink, you all know the Irish car bomb and the Guinness, shot of whiskey, the obligatory things, right? And maybe that's just me because I've been a bartender for so long. It's just like it's ingrained in me. I gotta have at least one or two car bombs on St. Patrick's Day. It is what it is. Oh my gosh, some people might think it's offensive. Oh no, Gandalf, what do you have to say if it's an offensive joke? What do you have to say? Please. No. Someone last St. Patrick's Day told me that it is racist to call an Irish car bomb an Irish car bomb. And I said, maybe you should change your tampon. I mean, no offense, but I mean, like, for real. Like, let's be honest. That's the name of the drink. That's what it's going to be called. Don't really care. So, let me know. Do you guys think Irish car bomb is an offensive term? we can have a debate about that, but I already know the answer. That being said, either way, we're shifting gears. We're rounding third base here, and this here was the video that I posted earlier today. I highly encourage it. We're gonna watch it here, but please, if you do have an X account, jump in there and give it a share, give it a thumbs up, or give it a heart, whatever you want to. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But this is a couple weeks back, my testimony in support of making mail-in ballots voluntary, and it's a super easy bill, super simple bill. Doesn't change much as far as if anything, it limits government because it makes anyone who voluntarily wishes to sign up to rescind themselves from the mail-in ballot process, making it totally voluntary. The state would no longer print you a ballot and mail it to you. You would have to physically go to the polling place and vote in person. And if you would like to, it would have been the option. So Julie Gonzalez comes in. The bill ends up getting killed. This is a few weeks back. Bill ends up getting killed, but Julie Gonzalez spouts out some completely incorrect numbers, or I wouldn't say incorrect, but severely misleading. So let's take a watch and check out this video.
And when they participate in our gold standard election process. Hello, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I appreciate you for taking my testimony here. I am in support of SB 26106. The fact is, I know a lot of people are going to have a conversation about voter suppression or the problems if mail-in ballots are not being given to the constituents of Colorado. This bill makes this completely voluntary, so it does not change or affect the current status of our current gold standard election process here in Colorado. The fact that our election process is top tier, top notch. Secretary of State Jenna Griswold is one of the best Secretary of States in office because she allows for mail-in voters and automatically registering people to vote at the DMV and various different options. When I apply for Health and Human Services through food stamps or Medicaid programs, they also ask to register to vote.
Everywhere you go with state
government. If a person removes themselves voluntarily and no longer is registered, there's many opportunities within the process here in Colorado to re-register yourself very easily in our system. So the fact that it's completely voluntary is a wonderful option, and the cost-saving value of this bill also goes into play. The fact that we spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, printing all of these ballots that get thrown away, that get destroyed, that get tossed away. The printing of ballots that don't even get used. I think that in itself is a reason to pass this bill and support this bill. Let the voters be the one to decide how and when they participate in our gold standard election process. And I do support a yes vote on this bill. Thank you.
Senator Zamora-Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, as I mentioned, it's really simple. There are voters out there that want to vote in person. They want the choice, they want the transparency, they want the security, and this bill does exactly that. And it comes at a cost savings. As we mentioned, with each statewide election, we're looking at a savings of $800,000, and it could be even more if we have more participation, and just double that if you include the general election. And it's really simple. And I ask for a yes vote on Senate Bill 106.
Listen to
Thank you, Senator Zamora-Wilson, for bringing this legislation. As we've heard today, Colorado's mail-in ballot system has created a nationwide gold standard of voter participation and accessibility. In the 2025 coordinated election, 98.6% of Republicans, 98.2% of Democrats, and 98.1% of all unaffiliated voters chose to vote their ballots by mail. Voters can already opt out of using their mail-in ballot at any time, but evidence from our elections clearly demonstrate that they don't really want to do so. For me, this bill just simply isn't necessary, and so it is for these reasons that I will not be supporting today.
Yeah, so I know that might have been quick and it might have been a little fast, but I tried to fit as much as I could in 3 minutes. But the fact is that Julie Gonzalez, Senator Julie Gonzalez, and I've got the data here. This is from the Colorado Secretary of State's office, folks. Okay, this was the election that Julie Gonzalez referenced when she was specifically addressing 98 point something, 97% of these voters. The Democrat voted this much, the Republican showed up at this much, and then the unaffiliated showed up this much. Okay, she spout out 90+ percentile numbers supporting that everyone uses mail-in ballots. And if you want to remove mail-in ballots, this is what everyone wants, right? Everybody wants to use mail-in ballots. Well, first of all, when you send that out to everyone and it is the main and most accessible form, people are just going to accept that and just do it. Sure, I understand that. And the fact is that they are making it so convenient that people don't think to do the traditional vote day of, right? And this is where everyone fails to really connect the bigger picture to it, is that when you vote early, when you vote prior to election day, that voting data gets recorded ahead of time. And then they start trickling in these ballots, and they start pulling in the data prior to the official election day count. So if you turn in your ballots early, whoever's counting the vote can base participation on that earlier sample of the pre-election day numbers, right? So they can kind of hedge their bets on we have a gauging suspicion that we're going to get this many voters showing up on election day. Well, folks, here's the kicker. If you don't vote early, and if you show up on election day without giving them that prior knowledge to how you're going to vote, you are the X factor. You are the unaccounted for variable. When you when we show up in mass and show up on election day in person, we can totally blow their numbers out of proportion based on their percentages that they're pulling from pre-election data, right? That's part one of how the mail-in ballot system is manipulated. Part two plays into just sheer numbers, right? The fact is that they have a voter pool, they have voter rolls that could either be dirty, lack of maintenance, and over registration or automatic registration through various different government agencies. And you have a large voter pool that you mass send out all these ballots. Some might not use it, some might not turn it in, some might be thrown away, some don't participate. But the fact is that those ballots are out there in the universe, right? And then hypothetically, just example, what if, on election day, they use these numbers, you turn it in 7 p.m. on election day, and they start tabulating, and they start noticing that there are some people who might not have turned in their ballots. What's to stop a system from just reprinting that and using it again, right? This is just hypothetical, right? We're spinning a web, we're putting on a hat, but the fact is that I wanted to just touch on Senator Julie Gonzalez used the 90+ percentiles, and she fails to understand that we had the lowest possible turnout for the Colorado coordinated election in 2025. We had just over 1,000 people participate. 1,000 ballots were returned, okay? So that percentage, the percentage numbers that she was talking about the percentages based on the reported returned amount for the election results. The lowest turnout, 25. We had 25 to 28%, give or take, of voter turnout in total of registered voters statewide. So she's using that high percentage number from the lowest turnout numbers. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm putting down here? It's right here, right? When she says, we'll play the clip right here again, just her part right here, okay? Let's just listen really quick.
Today, Colorado's mail-in ballot system has created a nationwide gold standard of voter participation and accessibility. In the 2025 coordinated election, 98.6% of Republicans.
98.6% of Republicans. Let's just double check. She said 98.6% of Republicans. This pie chart right here from the Secretary of State's office says Republican turnout, 27.97 of the 1,000 ballots that were turned in, 27, almost 28% were Republican. So where is she getting that 98% number? Where is she getting that 98% number? You let me know. Yeah. Killam41 says, Gonzalez voted no because some of her family wouldn't be able to vote anymore. Absolutely correct. So she said 98% of Republicans voted with mail-in ballots. Well, when most of the people that voted with the ballot that was supplied to them, that's the amount of people that you're going to get that use a mail-in ballot. Do you see that? That's where she's getting the percentage. But it was the lowest turnout of registered voters. 25% of voters. Well, let's keep listening.
98.2% of Democrats.
98.2% of Democrats.
And 98.1% of all unaffiliated.
And 98. So we're looking at upwards of 98%. 98% turnout with mail-in ballots. 98% turnout with mail-in ballots. But yet these numbers show 300,000 Democrats voted. Just under 300,000 Republicans voted. And 440,000 unaffiliated voted. So do you see how she's skewing the numbers? She's giving you false information based on a low turnout off election cycle state special election. She's being disingenuous. She's being dishonest. She's giving you data by obfuscation. She's lying by omission. She's giving you not quite the right information, but she's not technically lying. Do you see what she's doing? Right. So, with that being said, folks, you can't have a Democrat in Colorado politics that isn't a liar, a cheater, or a thief, and Julie Gonzalez does not miss the mark when it comes to that, right? Julie Gonzalez is a liar, a cheater, and a manipulator, and she is one of Colorado's leading progressive candidates for the Democrat campaign, for the Democrat Party here in Colorado, and she's actually running a campaign against Hickenlooper right now to unseat the old guard Democrats. This is how brokenly radical the Colorado State Democrats are, right? They run against each other because she's more radical than Hickenlooper, and that says a lot. So Julie Gonzalez manipulates through obfuscation, through lies, and through deception to promote her progressive agenda. But just wanted to drop that on you. But folks, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys having a good time with me on St. Patrick's Day. Top of the afternoon to you. And I appreciate everyone here. Make sure you keep your gold safe. Keep the gold safe from Jenna Griswold, because you never know when that little gold standard election rigging witch is going to come through and snatch up your little pile of gold. Gold's pretty valuable now, you know. Gold has reached all-time highs, right? But yeah, gold standard Griswold, you need to stay away from her. You need to keep it safe. Keep it dialed in, because she will do everything she can to steal your pot of gold, Jenna Griswold. But without further ado, folks, I do thank you for hanging out here with me on this fantastic. Wait, what the? Hold on. Did I not? Sorry. I was almost there, folks. Almost there. Let me. Wait, what just happened? Wait a minute. Get out of town. Hold on. So let me just copy that. Did that work? Sure. Let's give that a try. Stankfail, appreciate you being here. Melindy, rock and roll. I love you all being here. Killam41. Can't forget Killam41. There we go. But thank you all so much for being here on Break the Change Media. Gandalf, what do you got to say to Gold Standard Griswold? Stay away from my pot of gold, right? Get out of here, Griswold. We don't need you here. We don't like your kind. You little thieving, conniving monster. But yeah, we are sending off to Quiet Part Pod. Appreciate y'all being here. And again, happy St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see you tomorrow. And as always, fight for freedom and never give up.